What's going on? What's going on? You're now tuned into the Low Key Podcast, episode 12, Omar Coming. Right now, we're going to be talking about The Wire. Like I told y'all, when I started doing this, I'm going to be doing a lot about some movies, TV shows, music, life, etc. Just a bunch of different things, man. But today, we definitely getting into The Wire. This is undoubtedly my favorite TV show of all time. I don't think it's going to be a TV show I'm going to watch after this that's going to be better than this. I haven't seen one since, and I watched this years ago. I actually watched this years ago, and at the time when I watched this, it was actually coming on BET. Like, I wasn't even getting, like, the fulfilled, like, it was edited, basically. You know what I'm saying? BET, it was edited, and it was a show that was coming on HBO some years back. But I can't even, honestly, I think it was kind of, oh, no, matter of fact, they was probably on their fourth season, going into the last season. I think when I started first watching it, they was about to be done with it. And I started watching it from the beginning on BET. But, man, the first episode of this show, like, from there till wherever I got to, like, it was a show where I had to see the next episode. That type of show. And it wasn't just a runoff show. You might even get an episode where it's just like you know how you get those episodes in TV where it's just trying to keep it going as far as the seasons because it's got so many episodes. It's like 20 episodes, 15 episodes, whatever. A filler episode. That's why I call it a filler, where they do like a side mission or doing just something that ain't got nothing to do with the main story of the show. With The Wire, you don't get none of that. Every single episode is something going on. And I'm not talking about entertainment value. When you watch this show, it's got plenty of entertainment. That ain't what we talking about, though. The Wire is a show that's not about heroes. It's not about villains. It is about a city in Baltimore. And I ain't mean to say a city in Baltimore, but I mean it's about Baltimore and drugs and the police and basically how, I guess you say how the government works down there, but basically how the government works, period. You know what I'm saying? The corruption, not only in the police, but in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's showing how deceitful the streets can be, but also how deceitful the police can be. It's showing you how the life with the government, life with streets is not too different, but basically the same beast, just serving two different, I ain't gonna say serving two different, but doing two different things as far as the law go, or how they would see it, because both of them basically can be breaking the law by doing certain things. One is basically selling drugs, which is supposed to be against the law, you know what I'm saying, carrying a concealed weapon or whatever, and the other side is doing lying to the people, just lying, as far as the police go, as far as this show go. But what I want to get into the show as far as the importance of the show, because like I said, the entertainment value was there. But when it comes to this show, about how the drugs has an effect on not only the community, but everything around the community, how it involves, how it goes from the community to other sections of the city, how it can turn a whole section of a city into like a wasteland, man. Like, to see this type of shit and knowing that you have been around this type of environment, speaking personally, you know what I'm saying? Watching people that's on drugs look like straight out zombies. And the way this show does it, it doesn't glorifies it. It lets you know the ugly side, man. You know how you have those movies or TV shows showing you prison or showing you slavery, how real it could get, like 12 Years a Slave, for a prime example, showing you the ugliest side, the ugliest of slavery. Like, that's what you get with The Wire. The Wire is showing you every single detail as far as police, how the police work, and not bad police too. You talking about good police too. I'm talking about a full-on investigation of how the police move. And I'm going to remind you, this show was in the early 2000s. Wasn't no touch phones. It wasn't a lot of, it was high-tech stuff back then, but it wasn't as high-tech as it is now. And to see what the police were doing to try to catch these people lets you know just how in-depth police will go. Just think about what they're doing with rappers these days, man. That's what I'm saying. But not just with the police. It shows you in depth how drug dealers work, how people in the streets work. Not only how smart they are, like basically you running the drug business is somebody that basically can run a 9-to-5 business. And what I mean by 9-to-5 business, they can run their own business. I'm not saying a regular job, but run their own business. As far as dealing with money and how money works, because that's what you're doing when you in the street selling drugs. You basically on Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Stock. You investing in a product that you don't know is going to be good or not. And that's what I'm saying as far as this show does. It shows the ugly side of everything, man. This ain't the good guys are going to catch the bad guys and it's a good guy versus bad guy situation. This ain't that. You get character detail so in depth that you want to know what's going on with everybody, not just the criminals from our perspective, because you know how we are, like with the Power or Snowfalls, we rooting for the bad guy. Let's just say what it is, because you know what is up against as far as a black man in the system. And what this show does as far as The Wire goes, it just shows you how corrupt a system can be by just trying to, what they were saying in the show is book the stats or fix the stats. And what I mean by fix the stats, on The Wire, the cops would go into a neighborhood and just find low-level drug dealers and try to arrest them just to fix the stats. Not go after high-profile people who they know are like kingpins and stuff like that, but low-level people like kids, you know, like teenagers, people in their early 20s. Them type of people they try to arrest so they can roll over on the big people. And if they don't, they can throw time at you. Because back then, and even to this day somewhat, when it comes to drugs, you get heavier time. You remember what they say, like, you'll get more time for drugs, crack cocaine, than you would for murder. You feel like manslaughter. And what this show does, as far as The Wire, it shows you every little detail, and it ain't boring. That's the thing about it. That's what I mean by as far as the entertainment value. You're going to get your entertainment, but you're going to be so shocked. I ain't going to say shocked. You just going to be so engaged with learning what you learning and seeing what you seeing that you like, man, damn. And that's what you're going to say without even notice that you're saying it, because you like, this is real. Because from season 1 to the end of the season, to season 5, I say, because that's the last season of The Wire, there ain't no outcome where you see something coming. Ain't no outcome where you like, oh yeah, he gonna get his. They gonna get them niggas back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Because you got them shows where they got the cliffhangers where they leave off on this subject, this and the third, where, oh shit, I wonder what's gonna happen next season. You gonna get that in this show, The Wire. You gonna get that. You gonna get that episodes where you gonna like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? And I'm sorry how I am, because this is how much I love this show. But when I first watched, it was a certain episode that something happened, and I was like, man, I ain't watch this no more. This is dumb. Because I was so used to watching certain shows where the outcome's supposed to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But this show is real life. So when that situation happened in this show, it's like, hold on, how y'all gonna do that? Wait a minute, because that's what the show is. This show ain't about depicting fairy tales. If anything, they trying to basically, this is a written documentary. And when I say a written documentary, it's almost like they got actors to portray a documentary of real life. The only difference is you get in these situations where you like, man, I can't take my eye off the TV. when you have characters in this show that are depicted, that are based off real people in the city of Baltimore, and when you see these characters, you're going to remember these characters forever because of the impact they bring to the show. But not only that, you're going to be like, I know somebody like that from my neighborhood. Straight up. I know somebody like that from my neighborhood, because they get into depth, and they don't just show, and let me say this too, how important the show is. They don't just show black people selling drugs. You get to see a whole different world by showing white people selling drugs too, in a whole different season. I'm not even gonna say what season it is, because it's certain people that I know haven't watched this show, because this show wasn't a big show back then. Not as far as mainstream, like a Game of Thrones. To us, like I would say to, black people, or to people just in particular crime dramas, first 48 shows like that, this was the show. This is the show you was watching. And I feel like it's a lot of people that ain't touched on this show that you got to watch. So I'm giving you details as far as what would make you want to watch this show. And what I'm telling you is, you can watch this show with your family. There's certain things in here that kids shouldn't see, but at the same time, there's certain things in here kids should see. Because it's certain things they going to be around that a parent is not going to be there to give you suggestions on or give you advice on, because kids are not around their parents 24/7 like we were, and around our parents 24/7. So the show, the way it goes and the way it moves, is you won't be lost. You get everything and you just want to see more. And what I mean by that is because it's so good. And credit to the actors who portray these characters in this show. This show is that good. I'm not lying to you. I want to name some of these characters in this show. One character that I think is a standout of all characters is Omar. You might have heard, if you haven't seen the show, you might have seen people saying, yo, Omar coming, like as a joke or something. Like you will see this thing going around. Like if you look it up, you can just look it up. Type in Omar Coming, and it'll pop up and you'll see who this person is. It's a character off The Wire, and he played by a very known actor today that wasn't known back then. But this actor is very well known today, and I'm not going to say his name because I want people to watch the show and be like, yo, that's such and such. Oh, that's such and such. Because it's people in this show that are big actors now. Black people. And I'm not talking about big actors to just us as black people, but big actors in the worldwide, global big actors. But particular character that has a major impact on this show is Omar. Omar is a character, and I'm not going to get into too much detail, but this is a character that robs drug dealers, and that's all I'm going to say. He don't rob civilians. He don't sell drugs. He robs drug dealers, and that's all I'm going to say. Another important character that I feel like there was a very, very important character to this show was Bubbles. And Bubbles is a drug user. He's on The Wire season 1 through the very last season, which is season 5. And his story is such an impact. Bubbles. I'm not going to give you details about none of these characters because I'm telling you, you need to watch the show. Another character that's on here, Marlo. He's a kingpin that comes on in the season. I'm not going to say which, I'm not going to say when, but Marlo. Every character in this show has a message behind them. And I'm going to tell you straight up, it's certain characters I was going to say it's characters, you're not going to hate these characters. And you will probably say, if I'm not going to hate none of these characters, because you got to have a good show where you got to have a good villain that you hate. But in this show, you're going to have people that I'm going to say you dislike. You dislike a lot. But then there's going to be a certain situation where you're like, oh, wait a minute. That's what type of show you dealing with, man. I'm telling you, I hope you understand what I'm saying, because like I said, I'm just not trying to get into too much detail about it.